me let it go. Go, 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 go. Oh, let it go. I'm tired, let it go. Give it all to Jesus. Let him take control. Just sit and worship. I know it hurts you, and I know it's painful. No way to wait, so you have to let it go. Your best friend is not your secret enemies. Let it go. Your wife is getting married to another man. Your husband are falling in love with another woman. Don't let it bother you. I've said let it go. If someone overlook you because you live in zero, if they insult you because you don't have nobody, if you say you will continue to be a zogo, if you say you will continue to be a prostitute, if you say you will continue to be a beggar, you will not marry, you will not bear your own children.
Well, good afternoon, folks. This is the Liberia Public Radio, and this is your informative news magazine, Crossfire, coming your way right here. It's on LPR this beautiful Saturday afternoon. It's pouring right here in the East Coast. I don't know where you are, but we are getting a serious rain here this evening. But we got to let it go.
Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Oh, let it go. Lord, help me let it go, man.
Yeah. Well, that's the voice of Minister Jemima Walcott from the West African state of the Republic of Liberia, fading away right here on Lpr-Tv. Welcome, this is Crossfire.
Always hear me when I say my prayer with few words. But Jada say, and they planted in this new world. Read the power every day, that while I'm still a good boy. Jehovah bigger than your problem, so just let it go. Just keep on praying, he will make your blessing overflow. To be the best and more the rest, you gotta pray more. The God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the God of mighty blow. But there is power in your blood, and while I'm giving praises, yes. I gotta dance that David dance, they think I'm getting crazy. But life is how you make it, brother, may not be hasty. Every time I sin, I'm on my knees, begging God for mercy. Thank you for your love, blessing, and forgiveness. You solved my problem, Lord, you took me from the wilderness. Now only you can feel my struggle when I'm really stressed. So my papa bless me, then my enemy, they get invest. No matter what the problem is, man, just let it go. Your delay is not your denial, everybody know. Just keep on trusting in Jehovah, he will give you more. He took me from the grass, he can take you from the rock and roll.
Yes, we gotta let it go. So says the song to writer, and that beautiful voice there from Liberia. The other good things in Liberia, folks, we want to welcome you. This is Afonso Zienso. Right here on the Liberia Public Radio New England Bureaus. It's 3:09 Eastern Standard Time. I know you're a little after 7 in the beautiful lands of Liberia. Welcome. Good afternoon. To very shortly, we're going to get a program going. I yet to get the word, even though we had a conversation, but the minister is not confirming. But if he doesn't, whatever the case, the song's writer, the singer already remind us we got to let it go, and we have to keep the conversation with or without them, because we need to have you informed, and we need to have this sort of authentic conversation.
Pack your load and go, living the life of joblessness. Let it go.
If you want to clap, if you know your 10 fingers are live and well, like myself, you can clap and I sing it to the Lord. What's that?
Desperate of depression. Let it go, man. Oh, I'm tired. Pack your load and go.
Another 15K drops in this country.
Let it go. Your best friend take your horse. Let it go. If your wife say we are not compatible,
you're not compatible. They use that big word to confuse you, to diffuse you, to neutralize you, and by the time you get a definition, it been gone. Fellas rebels, I'm Elisha right here in the ocean state of Rhode Island, Bajibo Fremont, and my old man Mikey. Welcome. You are on the official news outlet of the Liberia Public Radio. No way I can leave evangelists, Marcus fans, and Fatu Dalit, Milfi Diko. Which team you playing for? Is it Lone Star or All Star?
Oh, mama, they don't want to pay. You are become a boo-boo man. Your best friend is now your secret enemy.
Just do us a favor, just hit the share button and just invite someone to the company. That's not going to cost you anything, right? Just hit that share button.
Just they call you boo for nothing. I say in your family, they call you useless.
Yeah, man, when you're more dragging, you're gapping. When you see, when you come in, they say, let a man come. Well, that's fully man there. But like win power ball. All the uncles, the nephews, and nieces, everybody gonna surface.
Where you home? How long? Where you home?
All right, let's get a program going right here. Very shortly, my senior contributor, Amos George, will be joining me here.
You are holy on, and making Jesus to run no. So let it go. It is painful, let it go. Oh yeah, mama, let it go.
It is painful.
Let Jesus take.
Yes, let it going, and we know it is painful. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get the program on the way. It's 3:12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here from the New England Bureau of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. While in progress of this program, if we still get a confirmation from the minister, of course, we'll bring him, but I think everything was all set to get it going, and without any change in plan from their end to let us to see whatever trick, I think that is just unfair, but we want to hold tight there. And we're going to get this program going here. Time Alfonso Z and Sort of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. We want to welcome you to this informative news magazine program. Tonight we want to be talking. We want to look at the communication aspect of GOL. He's sure being here to take her into the sense of what they're going to be there, what are going to be a paradigm shift in the message of the government, but he's not here, so we want to profile that conversation, and we'll also give you the opportunity to place in one or two calls. Let's get the program on the way. Hey, let's get a program away. I hope I'm audible. Just make sure that if you're getting me live and well, just make sure you let me know so that we can have a conversation here. As usual, I would like to take you on the rendezvous across the globe. Some of the news making headlines and things that we need to know. Let's see here on the international front, the town, and that is in Germany. The town has been destroyed. German Jews were flawed aftermath. The whole war is in a chaotic situation. Fear of new COVID wave could overwhelm Lebanon's health crisis or health system. Cuba president slammed the social media after protests. They are now blaming the social media in Cuba for what is happening. Do you remember what is going on in Cuba? The protest there is overwhelming. And let's see here. Let's go on the home from here. According to our own Liberia Public Radio official news outlet, Liberian legislator get another 15th USD each for engagement, but citizens angry. What are they engaging? This is a very volatile and very difficult thing to really talk about, because what happened, it is part of the law. It's being inserted into the law that these people should get it. So it kind of wrapped the coil around our neck as to how we're going to do it. We can just only question the timing and the adjustment, considering what is going on right now. Now, this is a very eye-opening that we will look at the laws, those sort of legislation that comes overnight and there's no official enough time to take a review, it's time for us to question our politicians whether these legislations are in our interest or not. But today's program was actually scheduled to talk to the newly Deputy Minister of Public Affairs, a friend and brother, Mr. Tonpo Jarlawah Tonpo, former President Public Affairs Director to the First Branch of Government, is now going to be the Deputy Minister for Public Affairs. We had a conversation yesterday. I talked with the MICA Director. All was set. I'm not sure what is going on. But a lot of things happened. Whatever it is, there are second chances. But we just thought that they could make use of it. And that's the little frustration here, to not just only the GOL, but all of the stake actors. I gave them the opportunity to enhance their message, to allow their side to be heard. And they didn't capitalize on it. Public relations, this is a very expensive and costly business here. But they're yet to know about that. So, I'm not sure what happens, but hopefully we will get word, and we will not give out. We are all in it to get the news, to discuss it, give it a fair shot, and give them the opportunity to tell us. But as you know, the messaging aspects of the government of Liberia, GOL, not just only the CDC's government, but even from Helen Johnson Sirleaf and from time immemorial, it has been a very difficult thing in terms of multiple people speaking for the government of the Republic of Liberia. Makes it very difficult for the arm or the branch of government responsible to interpret the message of the government. So we thought that we bring in the guy who is now going to be the overseer or one of the mouthpieces of the government of Liberia. Courtesy of Spoon TV, this is the induction ceremony into recently of Deputy Minister Jarlawah Tonpo at the Ministry of Information during our induction ceremony. Courtesy of our sister network, Spawn TV. Let's listen. It captured my imagination. There are some things that are really sense out based on what I was hearing, and I look at and profile what the Ministry of Information to represent, and I decided to have gone further to have a conversation so that you can hear it in his own words. Let's listen to this.
I always like to begin by saying, I've come this far by faith. Honorable Legewu Julius Brennan, Minister of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, distinguished Deputy Ministers, Assistant Ministers, Director, Supervisor, and the General Workforce of MICA, Honorable Senators, officials and members of the staff associations of the 54 national legislatures, other officials of government, include Minister Sylvester Williams, Reverend Dr. Edwin Bailey, bishops of the Assemblies of God Church in Liberia, my bridegroom, my wife, and other religious leaders gracing this occasion. The leadership and members of the Press Union of Liberia, Legislative Reporters Association, Legal School, members of the civil society, foreign partners, my family and friends, members of the Folk Estate, my own colleagues, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'm grateful to God for keeping me alive to this day to fulfill His purpose and this responsibility. He knows my heart and readiness to serve my country. Let me also thank the President of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency President Dr. George M. Weah, for appointing me as Deputy Minister for Press and Public Affairs, Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, from among several equally qualified professional colleagues to serve in his administration. I'd like to assure His Excellency, the President, my colleagues, Amika, and the Liberian people that I take this job very seriously and I will diligently work to justify the confidence reposed in me by His Excellency.
Okay, let's hear. My man is here. Mr. George is here. I guess you are listening to this. I wish
Let me
he
use
show
this
out here.
opportunity to thank.
So let me just remove this one here. Mr. Amos George, good afternoon and welcome this Saturday afternoon on my end. Check your mic. Let's see. Are you there? I am not getting your audio. Okay, it's muted. Hello? What's going on? What's going on with your audio there? I'm not getting your audio. Maybe you want to go off and come back. Let's see. All right, I guess that audio is corrupted already, folks. If you are getting me from my end, just let me know. Okay, let me just get you up, George, and then you can. Are you there? All right. Okay, that's the best thing to do. If I'm audible from my end, Alex and all of the other folks, just let me know. I guess I'm audible here from what I see, but it could be a different thing from your end. So just let me know if I have also an audio issue or is it coming from him, so that way we will know. We try to monitor it to make sure the man from all of the 15 political subdivisions. Cook, welcome, Mr. Joseph Grant, of course, our own man, Crew Boy, and Elijah Freeman, all of you great people in the building here. We're going to have a conversation here. Hopefully, Mr. George, audio is good. Let's see here. Hello?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now we are on course. Okay, Pa George, good afternoon and welcome.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we should have had the Deputy Minister for Public Affairs of the Republic of Liberia, who happens to be one of the official spokespersons. I'm not sure. There's no reason. I'm monitoring all my phones and devices, email. I don't know exactly what has happened. He's not showing up, but I know you listened to him the other day. He said he's a guy. He's a man of faith, man, and that comes a lot. I kind of captured some of the things in his induction ceremony and things that he was saying. But now it's like no call, no show. I don't know what exactly happening. But this is just bringing out opportunity because he said you're going to engage with other people that they agree and disagree with. And so when you have a rendezvous with people, you got to do all you can. If anything were to change in the interim, I think it's fair to kind of reach out to say, hey, XYZ happened. Can we reschedule or can we have a turn in this corner? Nothing like that.
Yes. And I hate to say this, but we are living in the 21st century. And there are so many mediums of communication to reach people. Moreover, if you are a government official, a public servant, you accepted an invitation to attend a program. If for any reason that you cannot attend that program, it is expedient that you notify the people that, hey, I have some unexpected issue. I will not be able to attend the program. So then the people can go ahead.
Yeah, let a man do a thing, you know.
They can go ahead to schedule something else.
Right.
And don't call. Yeah, you don't call. No show. And you are a minister. What that say about the country? That speaks volume. You are not an ordinary person to speak up. You are a minister. They extended you an invitation. You honor that invitation. Yes, I will be sure. I will turn up. Rest assured. If anything in the interim did happen, because the unexpected happened, it is incumbent upon you to call the people and say, hey, we had this group, but I have the kind of interruption. So I will not be able to assure. If we can reschedule it, that will be okay. That is what is needed. Respect for other people. But when people do these things, and we come to talk, they say, oh, we always beating on the people. But these are protocol, these are norms that we're supposed to observe. These are things we're supposed to observe. Now, if the minister, he just took office, say, hey, I will talk to everybody across the aisle, regardless of your status. But yeah, right now, he was invited the whole week. Never said anything. That meaning, don't show no call. What can we say now about these people? The people ask us why people are all critical of the government. But this is one step again. Minister, Deputy Minister of Information for Press and Public Affairs. This man is a communication, expert. So why he didn't communicate? Why he did not respond or say anything to the management? Now, what can you make of this? Can you say that, oh, the minister of basic? No. These are calculated attempts by these people not to speak to a certain group of people, Nigerians, that they feel that, hey, I'm not obligated. If I don't want to speak, I don't want to speak. Yeah, it is your right. But then, if you accept that invitation, it is your responsibility to tell everybody that, look, you know what happened? For some reason, I will not be able to attend the program. So maybe you can go and fill in whatever you can do. Okay, thank you. But nothing else. So it shows gross disrespect for other people. No respect for anybody. This is why it tells you about our people's character, the way we behave, the way we act. And this is how people judge people. Because for any reason, if I told anybody, extending me an invitation, I say, yes, I will come. If for any reason that I will not be able to honor that obligation, I will politely call you and say, no, what happened? I won't be able. So please, maybe we can do another time, but today is not feasible. That is okay. That's how civilized people, that's how intelligent people behave. But you accept an invitation, you don't call, you don't show. What that tell you? What will people say about you? These are the issues today in Nigeria.
Okay.
They don't take it, they just say, hey, I'm not forced. He's not my boss. I ain't calling.
I think, by George, you pull it into context. And the reason I display that flyer, it takes time to do all of these things here. It's preparation. And especially if we have to go into our scheduling to satisfy what suits you, making a suggestion, all of that. He's a friend, brother, but I would beat on him. Even if he come here, he owes us an apology. It does come with physical responsibility as well. For God's sake, things happen, emergency, things happen for whatever reason. But if you can, like you said, I think it's better to let us know, because we cancel other people or we put you there and other people who have gone on that slot said, no, how will you feel? You are ready. And then out of the sudden, you see another person gets on the program, you all deck up thinking that you're going to give your message. It's wrong. But I think one of the greater portions that I grabbed away from here is the selective aspect of it. And that happens on both sides, be it the government or the oppositions or other people. The feel that certain places or certain outlet is not a place for them to go. They have their own assertion, they have their own judgment against those platforms. Well, this seems not to be a friendly platform, so I'm not going to go there. Or they might ask X, Y, Z questions, so I'm not going to go there. Well, I don't think it's a good proper relations or it's a good strategy, because there's no need to even waste time to say that somewhere that you think that is friendly with you. Why should you go there to waste your time? Go on an unsafe ground. See how you can convince people. See how you can lay your message down. See how you can have a conversation. And LPR here is known to have not been very disrespectful. Regardless of who come here, we treat you with fairness and make sure that we also give you the opportunity to explain. Okay, joining us now is our senior contributor and analyst of the Liberia Public Radio. He's also a strong supporter of this government. I'm talking about Mr. George Weeder is joining us this hour from on the far end of the world. Man, we're so sorry. The time is so much crazy. So we know that and back to work. So everything all factor in. Mr. Weeder, good afternoon or good morning.
Good morning. Actually, it's 5 a.m. here. Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
my goodness, this thing is really killing you.
I know.
It's killing you. So, hey, you know what? You sign up for it, and so you gotta deal with it. All right, so let me just put the banner here as it is, as to show that this program was scheduled. We should have hosted the Minister, the Deputy Minister of Information for Public Affairs, who speaks directly from the government of the Republic of Liberia. Okay, here we are. We're slamming a little bit. They are our leaders. They are liable to be chastised when need be. Here we are. We created a flyer. We created a promo. All of these are time and energy and resources, making sure that everything is observed. And no call, no show. Mr. Widow, you support this government. Is it part of this strategy to say this place is not a safe ground for us? Don't go there, or maybe they acting on the order of somebody. Don't go to that place there. That place there is like a lion den. Is that the case, you think?
No, I don't think so. I think, look, as we all know, the rain in Liberia at this moment is at its zenith. I think it might be that the deputy minister is having some issues with internet, but I definitely won't say for a second that he intentionally boycotted the show, because here we talk the truth, we say the facts, and we don't disrespect our guests, So I don't think there's any reason that.
Why are you not looking in the face of a camera like you're talking to other people on the other side?
I got about 3 screens in front of me, so I don't know which one to look at. Give me a sec. Let me see.
Because when you're looking elsewhere, my audience will also raise a concern. Who is he talking to there to bring up answer? But I understand. I have monitors and other things that I'm looking at here.
Yeah.
That's a measure. That's true, because he suggested, he said, well, Saturday is a family time, but we can do it 7 o'clock local time in Liberia. That's perfect for me. Usually we should be here like maybe 12 o'clock our regular, but part of that, to make that accommodation, that was it. So you say that is not true. I take you of your word, but
hold on, Mr. So. Do not take, that's Mr. Widow words. But Mr. Widow, you are in the 21st century. Are you seeing the email is down, the text is down in Liberia? It's so ringing that you cannot even text, you cannot even send an email? Is that what you're saying?
No. The first thing I addressed was the appearance. And if he did not communicate with Mr. So, then for me, that is an issue. And that issue should be addressed with him, because I think it's disrespectful to be a no-show and not also communicate, with those who are supposed to be hosting you. So I think it's a disrespect, and that should be addressed with him directly.
That's why I expected, because when you lay the premise that the internet security is this and that, that's where I'm coming from. But what you're seeing now, then I totally in line with you. That showed disrespect, because
all right, guys. Okay, we're gonna put it to a rest. There are second chances in life. I'm still gonna reach out, because you see what is international time. When you see Christians and Nepal, these great people, when they are going into these Muslim countries, Aman Dawans and all of those people that dress like those people. Why? Because they are in search of information. They are in search of getting something out to the public. So they disguise themselves. They have to go with the culture of these people here. So I'm going to exercise tolerance, and I urge all of us to do the same. We still want to give the minister the chance. Tonpo, he's a good guy. He's a friendly guy, a very good communicator. And I listened to his induction ceremony. That was something was quite fascinating, catching, and I wanted to have something on record here. But let's talk a little bit here of record in his absence here. What is the importance of public relations? What the government, and not only the government, even the opposition, they also have the same thing. They have everybody speaking for them. Everybody seems to be a Goliath and seems to be whoever it is. And then when the damage is done, they say, oh, no. They're not speaking for all. We are independent people. We on our side. He a grown man. He a grown woman. They speak. But communication, it must be when it's centralized at the end. When it decentralized at the end, it's centralized and it becomes one voice, because that is very, very much important. That is not happening within our system. And I'm not sure who are those people that are helping them to get that done. They come, they make careless statement, they say anything, and they walk back on that. In the last time here, do you think the government found her right tone prior to the appointment of Minister Tonpo?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's the right tone. He just got the job, or I don't know, officially not. He was just inducted in the office. So I'm waiting to see how information dissemination want to go on his watch. How they're going to react to things in the public. So I'm waiting here to see. I cannot say anything because I have not followed him. I don't know him. So I want to get the benefit of the doubt to see how he's going to respond and how they want to disseminate the information to the Liberian people. So I'm waiting to see it.
Okay, Widow, let me just break you here. You support the agenda of this government, which is a great thing. Everybody have the right to decide which direction where to go. But do you think if the last minister, all up to the, do you think the information aspect of the government was well coordinated?
Look, I don't think so. And I have to be blunt with this one. I don't think the government has achieved much in information dissemination. I think is one of the aspects of this government I keeps wanting. And look, we look forward to and any positive change that this new deputy minister is going to come with. It is a difficult role because our community, especially Liberian politics, is very polarized. So we are very people who are very hard to deal with. So it's difficult to actually win when it comes to information dissemination because of the kind of machinery that exists in Liberia, and especially even the listeners, the audience. Some people are just not going to listen to anything you say, and I think
do they have reasons not to listen to anything?
Look, and there's so many factors, that are responsible for people not listening. Because it's just example poverty. I think if you're hungry, you don't listen to anything anyone says until that person provides you food. And I was having a conversation with someone yesterday, and I was talking about the budget that we have and how money is only for salary, and there's no money for any project. So people are hungry, and I understand that. That's why the lawmakers are using their salaries or using the money that they reap from the government to put back into people's lives, to give to people, and that's
their own creation is catching up with them. Fair to say.
Yeah, no, fair to say. But Mr. So, looking at Liberia's situation is quite a difficult one. Look, let me tell you this, and we're going to be here again maybe in the next 20 years, and we'll be saying the same things. If you have a budget that is, if you divide it among the population, everyone is going to take $5 a year. That money is nothing. So if we're going to say that money is going to affect the lives of people, that are 5 million people and 500 million, I think it's complete peanuts. I think we need to do more to generate revenue to make sure that the money is able to affect people's lives.
Okay, so
but at this stage, no.
Okay, the bottom line of my question here, I'm going to play this based on what the former Deputy Minister for Public Affairs, Minister Eugene Lamin Fagon, during his own podcast and on Spoon TV. That was the bottom line of this my question. So let me just play it, and we can have a.
And not get along. Can you say something to clear the air?
Well, thank you very much. When you say you did not get along, then it means that you were sometimes on and sometimes off. Correct me if I'm wrong. You don't get along. That means you're there on and there off. But it's nothing to hide. I think in early January, something occurred. At the appropriate time, I'll go into detail. But from that point on, I cannot recall what I did to the minister. I never attacked him. I never assaulted him. He never told me to do something that I did not do. I did not challenge his authority, but I don't know where it came from. And the minister stopped speaking to me until barely 3 to 4 weeks ago, since January. But the 3 to 4 weeks ago, what brought us actually face to face together was the Henry Costa saga when he used the airwaves and the.
Let me pause this here and have a conversation with these people. This guy is the official spokesperson of the government of Liberia, Deputy Minister for Public Affairs, Dissemination, the act of legislature that created the Ministry of Information in 1965. It's clear, it's caught, it's plain, it's specific. The task of that ministry being charged under that provision to what they should be doing, what their focus should be like. He and his boss, they wasn't talking. I think this is a hair-scratching one. You're quite correct.
I think this is a difficult one. You know, when
they wasn't talking. Nobody said anything. They are not babies, and neither I'm not going to put this one on the president. They are not talking for them for people to babysit them, but they were just unable to settle whatever went wrong, and without any sense of conscience, it appears to me. They were not even aware the damage they are doing to the country. I'm not talking about themselves. They can do whatever thing they can do. They are all grown up and they will bear the consequences. But their inability to even coordinate as a subordinate and a superior person, they didn't understand the damage that they were doing to the country. So because right there was a disconnect.
And look, and Mr. So, I agree. And that's why the president took that stand he took. I think it's no discredit to Mr. Fagon, but looking at the newly appointed minister, Mr. Rennie, I think the best thing to have done was to remove somebody if there's no cohesion, and they're meant to to jail. If there's no cohesion, the best thing to have done was to take them apart, and the president did the best thing to remove Mr. Fagon.
So you see that.
Let me say something. From what you're saying, I don't know. Are you seeing the person was aware of the rift between the deputy minister and the minister?
Yes.
Was he aware of it?
Yes, he was aware.
I mean, fair to say, there's no way that the president won't know.
Yes, there's no
evidence for that. But I'm
not someone to say he just answered the question. But what I'm driving at here is that from January to up to that time, what the person are waiting for, when the two people, the minister and the principal deputy, not speaking, 6 months gone by, and the person could not take any move. See the suffering that the country was going through, because these people are supposed to sit down and look at issue and say, okay, this is how we respond to this one. This is how you would do it. But they're not talking, and the Liberian people, they are taxpayer money they were receiving, and in order they're not doing their job. Why the person will take 6 months or so before we take a step to find the deputy minister or to even to remove one of them from there? What I tell you?
To add that, no, this is going to put a little pressure on Wader here, being a supporter of the government. It puts pressure on us. It disadvantages us from knowing what we should know or what we're supposed to know about our country. Correct?
That's correct. That's correct. And it's quite unfortunate. Look, some of us have worked in administrations. I've never worked in any government in Liberia, even though I briefly work here with the student government, the local government, I must say, and the federal government. But what I think the problem is that sometimes administratively things happen, and mostly in some cases, there's no way you can find a solution without removing someone from that equation. And if that person is not removed, things don't work. And as an administrator, you have to find that person that needs to be removed to have the equation work. And I think the president did the best thing by removing Mr. Fagon. And I think hopefully now we might see the benefit of the decision the president took.
Well, I'm not saying that. My issue of concern is this. When the president got to know that these people were not speaking, and why it took so long, because you are talking about information. The Liberian people, the government of Liberia, all the Liberian people, every explanation. And if you find people in a position, they are not speaking, then immediately a decision must be taken, because these people are not just off the boards. They are attacked of the ministry or agency. If the minister is not there, the deputy minister for administration act. So, and these people are not talking. When the person got to know it, why it took so long?
So yeah, Mr. George, I think, look, the quality of our decisions is based on the quality of research and the quality of work we've done to arrive at that decision. If you take decision, haste, usually that decision does not bear the desired outcome that you actually anticipated. So I think let's give it to the president here. The president took his time to study the situation. Should I remove Fagon or I should remove Minister Rennie? You know what I mean? And those things you have to study them before you come to a conclusion. And hopefully the conclusion he came to after a long while, I think that decision is going to bear fruit. And it's just about time we wait and see.
Well, Mr. Widow, you're talking about studying the decision 6 months gone by, since January. The question I asked, I'm wondering when the president got to know. That's why I want to get him the doubt. When he got to know.
Is that a fair question?
And that's a fair question. When he got to know.
I'm asking Widow, is that a fair question?
I don't think so. I don't think it's a fair question. I think this question is meant to corner, whatever the president has done. I think it's not a fair question. I think what Mr. George needs to know is that the president got to know, and the president did what he should have done. And I think it's about time we wait and see the outcome, the decision the president has taken.
I think then this come here, it comes back down to the same point we were talking here, the ability to coordinate and then put those information to in context for presentation to the audience or to the Liberian people, or even those within the diplomatic enclave. That is a problem, because when these things happen, they quickly jumps within the media community and the guests out there, instead of them being ahead of the game. So I wonder, even if this question ever pop up during the executive press briefing, Smith Toby wouldn't address it. They will say, well, they're doing this and, talking in their throat. That is a serious problem. It is a serious problem. And then one of the reasons for which I decided to reach out to Tonpo, I met Tonpo 2013 in his office, and we had a conversation. But in his induction, there were a couple of things he mentioned that I highlighted, and I was told how to talk. He said, I came into this with faith. My heart, I'm ready to lead, to serve my country. 17 years in working with the first branch of government. That is extraordinary. Okay, just give me a... Okay, let me see here. Let's see where. Let me get this here to one of our guys. Do you guys carry on here? Let me respond to this information here quickly, and I will be right back with you guys in a minute.
Yeah, look, and Mr. So, and I quite agree with you. I think it's quite a distraction, for what happened. But look, we now have a new deputy minister for public affairs. So I think I know him. He's very familiar. That's a familiar face. I've never met him myself, but I think he's very familiar, and I think he's going to do a good job. Look, don't take it from Fagon. I think Fagon suited that position, but I think after some time, I for one, I tend not to stay in a job for too long. If there's no progression, I tend to leave. I think if I will be fair to Mr. Fagon, I would rather that if the president was making a change at that ministry, taking the head off, I think Fagon stood a very good chance of becoming the minister proper. That did not happen. And I think if there's no progression in any role, I, for one, will not sit there. And I think when that happened, I spoke to a volume, Mr. Fagon. So I think things went downhill from there. And I wouldn't sit here and think that Mr. Fagon maybe became disgruntled. No, I don't think so. But I think Mr. Fagon lost some sort of may I say, enthusiasm, into his role, and I think that's when things. So
let me push you a little bit here, because your speed limit now seems to be on the high. Is going about speed limit. You said Fagon could even be minister proper. Let me just get it right.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, so then let me just ask you here. You know the red meat, the kitchen sink. He gone been throwing out there, and let's look at what the ministry says. The provisions that allows the ministry to be established. Ministry of Culture, Tourism, to develop, disseminate factual information about the government, right? To promote culture, tourism activities through well-cultured village about our country. The ministry to articulate government policy. This is very much important. To articulate government policies and public relations. Do you think the minister was effectively doing that? Do you think the facts versus fiction, instead of maybe know your government better, where that facts versus fiction, I could be wrong in my interpretation. It was more like getting in a power struggle with people who disagree with the government position, instead of softening and be able to go beyond the bell to tell the citizens or tell people within the diplomatic enclave, this is what the government represents. These are the policies of the government. But instead of going, it was like seesaw fighting, Guinea, try to struggling, to power struggle. How can this guy be a minister proper?
Look, every role comes with its own, description, and I think the minister was doing exactly, for me, I always used to admire the minister because he used facts. Most of the time, he will read from the Constitution when he's debunking any allegation or anything in the media. He will use the hardest, a book in the land, which is the hardest law in the land, the Constitution. He will always quote for the Constitution.
Was he always factual in your session?
I think so. And look, if I would not support this minister, I would not support him for some reason, but not because he provided false information. I think he was very factual in most.
Before Pa George comes in here, are you saying all what the minister have been saying, all that is it with the consent of the executive branch of government? Is that something the president is aware of? What about the being out there by the minister? Then
no, being factual does not mean that he has to come from the executive mansion.
What are the executives aware?
No, I don't think anything the minister said or is saying the executive mansion has to be aware. No, I think I can say the truth now on the show, and no one, I wouldn't have gotten it from the executive mansion or somebody higher ups in the government. I could have said it too. Yeah, you could say the truth. It will not be for anyone in any place, but it will be the facts. I think the minister might have gotten over his head sometimes because he becomes emotional at times, and everyone does. In situations, but I think he was very factual, and I think he dealt with the issue. What happened at the latter stage was administrative, and that's what I said when I read the statement that dismissed me. I said, look, this could have just been the minister is relieved of his position because of administrative reason, and I think that would have been something that would tell well. But for people to come and say he provided false information, I don't think so. I don't think he did. I think he's very opinionated. Like most people are. People can express their opinions in different ways, and people get carried away by the opinions they express. But I don't think he expressed false information or misled the public.
Pa Josh?
Yeah, let me say this. For the record, I know Minister Falcon well, and what we are seeing, okay, that's his opinion. But remember that the minister was suspended for some time for a statement he made in Liberia by the president. So that speaks volume. So the minister
and Mr. George, I want to say this thing here today, and I might sound a little bit controversial, but I have to say this thing. I don't think the reason why the minister was suspended was anything wrong that he said. I think the minister stated the facts. Look, my name is Widow, and I know what I have gone through in Liberia, regardless of the education I could have gotten or the startup I could have gotten in Liberia. I know because of my name, I know why I could not get to certain areas in Liberia. And this is an established fact. So nobody should come and want to shield the thing, to say because you talk about Congo and native, so he was suspended. Look, the Americans, the reason why the Americans said what they said is because of our society, the gullibility of our people. That's why in America, that where you live, racism is racism. Racism has continued to be there. It will continue to be there. People will continue to talk about, hey, in Liberia, when these people were taken from America and brought to Liberia, they killed our people because they had guns. They ruled our people to that. And for many years, they continue to oppress the indigenous people of Liberia. And we have to say these things. We're not going to shy away from them because America is going to say something. I will say it because of my name, Widow, because of my name, Chidibwe, from where I come from. I could not go to certain schools in Liberia. So we should say these things. We're not going to hide them. And it will continue to hide them. There will be no solution.
Okay.
They still exist. There is Congo people in Liberia and there is native people. It will always be that way. So we should stop shooting these things.
Okay.
I actually don't disagree with what the minister said.
Okay, hold on 1 second before Pa George comes in. So we're going to bring in our senior contributor to one of the veterans icons in this industry, formerly with the State Broadcasting Corporations and ELWA. James Gomiant is joining us from the Garden State of New Jersey. He is the doyen in this business, and we're going to see here. I think the conversations is getting to be more like interesting, and I say yes. So, Mr. Gomiant, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are you all doing?
We're good.
Glad to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
Pa George, go ahead and
let me tell you this. This line you people continue to push country indigenous. It's a dangerous line people pushing in Liberia. I think we have gone above that. And when I hear people saying the Congo people kill our people, but look at your own indigenous what you did to your people years back. You slaughter them, you burn their villages, you rape them, you enslave them, forced labor. They were not Congo people that are doing those things with the indigenous, they were their own children. So I don't want to go down that path. What the minister said at the time, it was wrong. And if you think it wasn't wrong, why the president took the decision that he took? So these are things I tell people, we should stop pushing this thing here because you cannot, every size, every tribe in Liberia is responsible for where we find ourselves today. Congo, Native, we all are responsible for today. If you want to go by history, who sold a slave? It was not Congo, it was not countrymen that sold their own people, the chiefs. You know Liberian history, so why you want to go down that path? Who sold them? No, hold on. Hold on. Every time you were talking, I didn't interrupt you. It was the indigenous that sold their own people. So are you going to blame those chiefs for selling those people now? But you want to blame the Congo people? This is wrong.
Okay, guys, let's come to base here. Let's come to base, and we don't. If you want to respond, we'll give you a chance. But the doyen is in the house. Let's get to his area here. Mr. Gomiant, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. So.
Okay,
thank you very much.
Okay, good that you are here. That's how I remember. That's how you used. I believe when you were at ELWA or ELBC, that's how you used to be mounted behind your microphone. But here is the deal here. We try to figure out the dissemination aspect of government's information, not just government, even the oppositions and people who claim to be doing what they want to do or get state power. How properly is their information being coordinated and how it gets out there? Deputy Minister Tonpo should have been here. He's not here. I listened to that speech. I'm quite sure you did. I got something extraordinary. There were a lot of highlights in there. Do you think the paradigm shift of this government information aspect? I heard him talking a lot of good things. That the foreign bureau news will be coordinated, the embassies, that's how it's supposed to be. That agencies of government, they should report to central government, the Ministry of Information, so that the information will go out there. But whether that will happen, that's another thing. Based on what we are hearing so far, not to get ahead of our shadow, Mr. Gomiant, do you think the government now finds a voice in the paradigms of the information? Will we see a change, bigger change in days, weeks, months to come as to how the government going to get our information out?
Well, according to what the deputy minister has said, I think what he said is good. He's on the right track, and that's how it should have been done. And I just hope that what he said is going to follow through with that, because the Minister of Information should be the sole spokesperson of the government of Liberia, and they should coordinate with all agencies, all ministries, all embassies. If they want to communicate the government's ideas or what the government wants to do, should be going through the Ministry of Information. And if the deputy minister says he's going to do that, we have to wait and see. While he talks, those are good. We have to wait and see if he's going to follow through, if they're going to have coordinated message, and that message will be able to reach to the Liberian people. Because it is important that whatever the government does is communicated clearly to the citizenry. That's the only way the people will understand what the government is doing, what actions government is taking, and all of that. So we will keep our fingers crossed, I would say.
Okay. And a good thing about he was just not speaking off cuff. He went back into the president's some of the messages, talking point as to what he's going to do, how he's going to process the information. He went back to make that reference. So the $1 million question here, and this question perhaps will be pivoted to Mr. George Widow, who support this government, which is okay. Now, what happens when Akaras Gray, the guy AK called the general, when Mulbad Malu comes out and say it becomes a liquor talk, or any other official government or within the establishment says something ridiculous, absurd. Now, with this minister, will he, based on what we are hearing now, will he come out to say this is not a government position? You think he want to do that?
Oh, definitely. I think that's what needs to be done, because we all know that the information arm of the government is not with Akaras Gray. Akaras Gray is representative. I think that where he works, he does not speak for Liberia, neither does he speak for the government. So I think it would be the proper thing to do if Molu comes out, Chairman Molu comes out and say something. I think it's in the purview of the ministry to say, look, this is not our official position. This person might have said this, but it's all on him or her. It's not on the government. That's not our position, and I think it's fair enough to say.
Okay, so then let me just put the ball around, and Pa George, you can be the first person to get the bait. Knowing what we know and what we are hearing now, and I'm going to do everything possible to get the minister here, even the minister proper or the deputy minister, because I want to have authentic conversation. Do you think there's some conversation going on behind the camera, behind the screen that you don't know, I don't know, moving forward, the coordination? Not that these people can't speak, but when they speak, there must be opinion there. They shouldn't be saying the government or Liberia. Some of them come out, the president definitively. Because when you say that, you're not just only speaking to Liberia, you're speaking with people within the diplomatic enclave in the country, as if the government is taking a position. Do you think that sort of rare, do you think that sort of warning going to be going to these people, when they are talking, let them talk as of, let them talk they might have a scope of limitation here, and not to sound like as if it is a government opposition. Do you think they can talk to like Akaras Gray and other people who want to come to say they blow it off? And I have no regret of saying what I'm saying. Do you think they're going to talk to those people?
Mr. So, this is not the first time. I think sometime, was it last year or so, the government said that the Ministry of Information is the sole ministry to disseminate and distribute information about the government. And anybody that went outside of that, they were going to take some action, administrative action or whatever disciplinary they're going to take. We have not seen that. All I'm saying, I want to get the minister, deputy minister, newly confirm the benefit of the doubt. Let me see how we're going to put the information forward now. Let me see that. I don't want to say anything. Let me see how he's going to disseminate this information, how the government going to be represented out there, talking to the Liberian people and the embassy, the enclave of Ram Marovia. I want to see that first. I mean, it's one thing seeing it on paper and another thing practicalizing it. That's another different issue. Because it's the thing here. The Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, he go on show, he said things. With the Minister of Information being able to say, hey, you should not say this. So these are, this kind of government is sometimes difficult because it's personal connection. Those who close to the president can say anything without consulting the Minister of Information, and the minister cannot do anything. So it's a little bit difficult to handle this area where people
Yeah. So, Mr. Gomia.
Yes.
Let me bring you in this thing here with your vice experience. As a reporter, as a journalist, follow the politics of Liberia. How difficult it is when you have people who are a close confidant of the president of the executive branch, and says things. How difficult it is for the ministry to come out to easily distance himself to say no. This guy here, what he's saying, it does not represent the government. In fact, to rebuild that person, how difficult it is such a situation?
Well, it is difficult, but it depends on the person who is heading the ministry, the minister who will be responsible for disseminating those information. If you are given a responsibility, the task of being the government spokesman, official spokesperson of the government of Liberia, you should be able to exercise that right, and you should be able to make sure you let the president know that, listen, we represent the government of Liberia, and whatever needs to be communicated to the people of Liberia should be done through the Minister of Information. Even if the Minister of State or the Minister of Health wants to make a statement, those things should be channeled through the Minister of Information. The minister can make those pronouncements with the health minister standing next to him, because they are the official spokesperson of the government, the Minister of Information. So I think if the minister, the deputy minister of the Minister of Information, did stand firm and said, this is the rule, this is what we're going to do, I think the president is going to listen to them. You have to tell the president, this is the role, this is our role, and this is what we want to do.
Mr. Gomia, let me ask this. Do you think that sort of a conversation was held behind the scene? Mr. President, I accept this, but this is what we're going to be doing. Do you think that sort of conversation was held?
If I was appointed minister, that's a conversation we have with the president. I would say, okay, I'm willing to do this, but we have to do it properly. It has to be done according to what it is. Yes.
So
if the president doesn't agree, and the president wants to go along with everyone trying to mix them, you see that where the communication that where your message gets messed up, when people from left and right are making statements that is not authorized by the ministry.
Yeah, because what I know in the past and from time to time, as a tradition and under the statutory law for which the ministry was established, if there were anything good or bad, foreign journalists, when they are making call, the very first person they're going to call to confirm is the Ministry of Information. What is the government position? What is the government doing? This is what we are hearing. So I assume it was you this afternoon that you have been appointed and you are having this sort of audience with the president. 1 or 2 person confidant of the president going to be saying there. And Mr. Gomia being very vehement, Mr. President, yes, I'm going to accept this here, but moving forward, this is how the communication process is going to be happening. You walk through and slam that door. Somebody going to get in the ears of this president. Wait a minute. The child not even grow yet. The baby not walking yet. They start eating pakana. Do you think you're going to get that job?
Oh, definitely. If the president wants his message to reach to the Liberian people, if he wants a message that the people will understand, that the people he will communicate that effectively. If you want effective communication, then the president should be able to accept the rules that is laid down. And if the confidant comes out and says something else, then the president say, listen, you are in this area. This person is responsible to speak to the Liberian people what we are doing. So if the president does not accept that, then for me, I won't accept the position.
Okay, I won't accept the position, Mr. Wida.
Look, thank you, Mr. So and Mr. Gomia. Look, I think regardless of your status in government, our fundamental right to free speech cannot be curtailed. I think anyone has the right, to speak on any matter or any issue that they want to speak to. What we need to know, or what the disclaimer that has to be put forward, is that I am not speaking for the government, but this is my position. This is what I believe should happen. I think it's fair enough. I think we should not say
No, we are not going to sanction people. No, that's I mean.
No,
That's,
we're not going to sanction people. Then that's the thing. And that's the thing. As I'm speaking, I'm not speaking for the government. I'm saying what I believe, and I think that's what should also be applied to the ministers.
Yeah, but
no, yeah, Mr. Widow, where we are saying we are not saying that ministers cannot make statement. What we are saying, if you're going to make statement on behalf of the government, it should be done through the ministry. I mean, if you are
definitely.
Yeah, but we know, most of these guys, they have slammed the table. The government of Liberia will not do that. And I have no regret of saying that. We have seen the lawmakers, we have seen some ministers, they have gone over the limit. So we wonder, what are these statements? Is it inconsonant, or is it approved by the executive branch of government or the ministry? Can we take those statements as official? Quickly before.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. And I think we need to speak to the Liberian people on this issue.
Just fair to say
any statement that comes from a minister or party chairman or whoever the person is that does not come from the information arm of the government, it's not the official position of the government. And I think that should be clear. Anyone should be able to have their own position, even as a minister of public works. You must have a say on the national issues. What you would not do is to say you are speaking for the government. And I think that is clear enough. I think that's what it should be.
Okay, guys, let me take a first quick commercial break, and we will be right back in the second segment. And this time we're going to sweep the ball around, not just on the government. There are folks here who are seeking for state power. We're going to look at their chain of communications and the kind of people that are talking for them, their language, their tone. I'm Afonso Zienso. This is Crossfire.
I'm Isaac Zawalo. I am an instructor here at the Arlington Career Center. I'm an instructor of mathematics. Mostly I teach the dual enrollment math classes for the Arlington Career Center. I've been here in Arlington for about 16 years. I originally come from Liberia, a small country on the west coast of Africa. It was established by free slaves from the United States. In Liberia, I'm involved with a series of educational projects. I own 2 schools, an elementary school in the capital city, Monrovia, and a secondary school about 40 kilometers outside of Monrovia in a little town where I grew up called Kakata. Well, the secondary school is called Giddings Polytechnic Academy. It's located about 40 kilometers outside of Monrovia.
Now, what makes Giddings Polytechnic Academy to be the best school is that at the Giddings Polytechnic Academy, we are introduced to electives such as drafting, nursing, business, journalism and creative writing, and agriculture. That's not all. We are also having a free access to the internet, and we are also introduced to ICT, that is the information communication technology.
The school is changing lives. Our parents are coming to the school and they are telling us, one, our teachers are consistently in class. Our students, the school is fenced, so our students remain on campus for the most of the day. The level of instruction, I've been told, is at the highest possible level for Liberia. In fact, it is projected that our enrollment will increase from 230 to about 500 for the next academic year. We are seeking help when it comes to technology, as I indicated. Any kind of resources that will help students to do better, textbooks, use textbooks, anything that will help ease the situation of our students. Anything will be appreciated. No, I look forward to seeing a relationship being built between the school in Liberia and our community here in Arlington. I consider Arlington my second home, and so I would want to see my 2 homes connecting.
Okay, that's our own Professor Asese Labozalo. We're going to be going a little in depth at some point in time, and this is what people don't know, because they just other people come here, they put them down because they don't agree with their political ideologies. This person is sedition, this person is collaboration. But these people, they are people making extraordinary interventions in Liberia to impact lives. And there's what kind of man is this? What kind of man is this? To be able to convince the person. And I think he needs the support of all of us. And we up here as one of us will do everything possible to enhance its message. let us switch gear here before we can wrap up in 45 minutes or whatever time it is. Okay, Mr. Gomia, let's turn to the opposition as well. These people are seeking for state power. These people have positioned themselves to be the alternative to the ruling CDC coalition government. They have a collaboration. Everybody doing their own thing. Cummings is giving back to the country under the banner of his foundation. Joseph Boyka on the other side is there doing what he's doing. Liberty Party, Benana Uri on the other side. When will Liberians, or when will we see the authenticity of this collaboration as a united front, so that the Liberians will also be assured these people, when they finally form that political marriage, we'll see them doing things that I said. But here we are. They also, one of the political leaders said, disagree with people taking 15K, even though the other one is being given. We want to know who all took it. What are they also, do they have a ceasing message?
Well, I am not actually aware of any message from the opposition. What I see, and political parties have in the past said they're coming together, and when the time gets closer to elections, they tend to go their own separate ways. And I don't see anything I haven't seen anything that would indicate to me that the collaborating political party will be together come 2023. I don't see that. I might be wrong, but I haven't seen any sign that shows that they're going to do that, because everyone is doing their own thing. And most of the time they say, well, we are collaborating, we have not merged. So, they play with statements like that. But we are hoping to see what they're going to do. For me, I haven't seen a sign that they are going to come together. I have not seen that. I just see that maybe in 2022, everyone will go their own separate ways, and then we'll have so many people running.
Okay.
But we should not also forget there's another group, I think Rainbow Coalition or something, that is also in the background. We don't hear much about them, but they seem to be coordinating their message, at least from what we see. They are not at each other's throat like in a collaborating political party.
And you have the People's Liberation, a group calling it's a People's Liberation Party. And philanthropists also turned politician, because there's a beauty in politics in Liberia. So they're where they go here. So let me go on the other far side here, Mr. Widot and Pa George. How can this collaboration hold when one side feels alienated? Cummings' name being called, he seems to be the stranger. He's not one of us. It is not in our bell wheel. So I'm not seeing the receiving hands for the ANC. And I can tell you, folks that we talked to from ANC, they are being blown off. But Cummings is still taking a diplomatic line. How long can this last? Is Unity Party, Liberty Party, ALP seems to now form that sort of collaboration within collaboration to sort of run into Joseph Boyka. I don't know the reason why, because I see some characters or some folks that with embedded with Joseph Boyka. They want to be like almost like Nathaniel McGee and the very Jefferson Koji and Samuel Tuet that we are complaining about. They have barricaded him successfully. I'm not sure whether Joseph Boyka have that strength, the political strength, considering what is happening right now. Or do they want us to get in a situation, anything can happen, then they will manage and that they can regulate and manage Joseph Boyka, because Joseph Boyka will not have the authority to control these people. Let me start with Emma George.
Let me say this also. I can tell you the collaboration will hold in the end. Yeah, it will hold. Right now, they don't have a cohesive message. There's no message. Everybody is.
So then, why would you want to tell me it can't hold now? It will hold in the end when we are in the finale of this thing. Yes. Is that what you want to tell me? It will hold. Then how can I believe them?
And take my word for today on the show. It will hold. But what you see here is people juggling here and there. I think one time whereby I said something and people said something about it. I said there are one or two persons in the collaboration that are trying to tear this thing apart. And I don't know, you read the editor from Front Page. Did you see that editor?
The editor, which one?
By Rani Sia?
Yeah.
And he mentioned, did he mention Benina Yure name there? About how Benina Yure want to pay somebody to make a publication about blackmailing somebody? That is the thing. I said it from the beginning, way back on the very program. Yure was one of the troublemaker in that collaboration. And now people are seeing it coming to reality. But right now, what is happening, I would call it, these people are canvassing around, trying to win the mind and soul of the Liberian people.
How long? How long? Why we can't even by this time here, 2023, it's just right next door. How long are you going to take? For now, until we know CDC going to bring in President George Weah as to succeed himself. Why this collaboration? Why all of the framework, frame this, frame that? Why can't they come out so they have this thing resolved once and for all?
I'm not speaking for them, but I want to see the convention. I think the convention will be this year. If the convention does not go on, then that's the end of it.
Okay, but before I go to Widow, if from what I'm seeing from now, we don't know, anything can change. If Unity Party, of course, they bring in Omen Joseph Boyka. Liberty Party, when Liberty Party, Nyombli Kanga Lawrence, and ALP, what his name, Benana Ure, and I agree with you. Benana Ure is in this to solely and mainly protect his business, so that when he becomes opposition, whatever he does wrong, government can't go at him, because when you did that, it would be like you are getting at opposition. If these three people form a collaboration against ANC, do you think the collaboration will hold? Considering what is happening now, Cummings is a stranger. He's not one of them. Maybe he's an agent of Helen Johnson Sirleaf. In fact, he's a sedition. He's been to labor in all forms and shape. He has not come up publicly, but when you talk to his folks, those are the things that we are hearing.
Yes, and Mr. So, let's go back again. The same thing I stated earlier. This tribal thing is still existing. The people are still pushing this line. And the former vice president said that the last time we had an interview, that Cummings, just one of the people who don't know him, who know him. That was the line of the vice president.
Okay, let me hold you right there.
Yeah.
Let me hold you right there. George Weeder.
Yes, sir.
I know that kind of comments it just play right into your narrative as seditions here, which is also good. But when you are giving full description of that, we don't know you. Yes. Even though you forming collaboration with me for us to get to the end of this political maritime, but I don't know you. So when would I know you? Do you think that goes down well with the folks in the ANC?
Oh, I don't think so. And I think alienating Mr. Cummings is going to be a dangerous path for this opposition. And let me make this caveat. The thing is that no matter whether the CPP holds or not, what I do know, and I'm sure of, is that they're going to lose. Bravo. I think they are going to lose in the end. And I think this president, President George Weah,
how you come to that conclusion?
I've come to that conclusion because I've seen, for the longest I've lived, I think Liberian politics is different from what we have here on Facebook. We have people on the ground who knows, exactly what is going on, and we know that the tangible things that this president is doing will speak for him at the end of the day. I think there's nothing that can stand in the way of this president. But yeah, it's something I want to say quite frankly with what is happening. I listened to René C about the threats on his life from the opposition. And these are the same people who say seditions are intolerant. But this is a journalist who has exposed the dubious attitude of a politician or opposition politician recently. And this is a guy who is being threatened. His life is being threatened by people in Liberia. I think it's very unfortunate. I think this tells you that these people are more intolerant than the intolerant itself. I think there is a reason that the Liberian people think twice in making any decision comes 2023. That if you think President Weah or the CDC is going against the press, get ready. What's going to happen when the CPP comes to power after the 12 years of President George Manneh Weah? I think it's very dangerous for the Liberian people, and I think we need to make sure that we address the issue, and to make sure that even if it look, I always say this: if Cummings becomes the nominee or Joe Barker becoming the nominee, I just feel that card of deck, right? That deck is all jokers, and anyone you pull out will be your joker. And with the CDC is going to win.
Is he favoring to contest with Alexander Cummings? Quickly, yes or no, before I go to Mr. Gomia. Is that the choice? Do you think the CDC want to go against Cummings?
The CDC has already known for a while now that whoever takes that nomination is going to be defeated. So we don't really have any theory. All we know that it's going to be a walk in the park.
Okay.
Mr. Weeder, you speaking about freedom of the press, telling people like your government ran Henry Costa out of Liberia, and they closed a station down. That curtailed the movement of the freedom of speech in Liberia. So you don't come here and say that your government had done everything to uplift the movement of the press.
Punch FM still in coma, right?
Yeah, Punch FM still in coma.
Yeah, here's the thing. If you want to mention Henry Costa and Punch FM and all these people, Punch FM did not have any registration, and when they advertised their station all over the world that they had a station, I think that is a disservice to the system that we want to build in Liberia. I think it's uncalled for. If you say you have a station and you put a placard all over the place, and then before you go for registration, do you think it is the right thing to do? I don't think so. For Henry Costa, it's a different case. Henry Costa has an issue to answer to. He ran out of Liberia. Nobody ran behind Henry Costa. Henry Costa left Liberia say that again?
Because Henry Costa, even let us say, alleged if Henry Costa committed crime, that gave the government right to shut his business down.
No, his business was not shut down because he committed a crime. I think his business was not registered, and that's it. That's it.
All right. Okay, guys, let's hold it at. Let's have some little bit here. Okay, Mr. Gomia. This is going to be a little bit held on IVET. I think what's going to happen 2023 and moving forward. You listen to Mr. Amos George, and even adding my own voice here. Most likely, people view Benana Euro to be the serpent within the opposition. Can they cut the head off?
Well, I'm not sure if I subscribe to that, because for some time I don't even hear of Mr. Ure talking. So I don't know. I don't know whether he's in the background doing stuff. I don't know.
The background, that's a serpent.
Yeah, for indication, indication here.
He knows a lot, and yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
I think my George knows a lot, and I would like to ask. I'd like to ask my George.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why give him the assurance that this group will hold? Maybe he knows something that we don't know, Pa George.
Exactly.
So George, where are you getting your information from that these people are going to hold? You are with us here, and let's be a little bit practical and pragmatic in our conversation. Widow is here, Pagonia is here, the Libra is not here, he's on the run. Professor Zablo is not here, and three of us just form a coalition against you here. You know what? Emma George can be a contributor there. Emma George, we don't like how you'll be doing here. Can you still do business with us?
Yeah, I do business with you, and what I'm speaking from the point, from the commitment of the onset of the people coming together. They said, look, we will definitely do everything to hold. If we don't do so, the Liberian people should hold us accountable. So it's that point I'm speaking from. I do not have an inside sources to tell you that, hey, I spoke to this person X, Y, Z.
You don't want to disclose that.
Okay, let me just give Pa George a small history lesson. Not very far, because I spent the whole 2017 in Liberia during the election. Now, all the opposition leaders gathered in Ganta, Nimba County, and they all agree that whoever goes against Unity Party, we all going to support you. and they all went and they signed a memorandum of understanding. Now, when it came that CDC and Unity Party were to go for the second round, what happened? They all split. All those that said we support whoever we go against Unity Party, guess what? They left. ALP left, ANC left, Liberty Party left. They didn't even go with CDC. So what are you basing your positive attitude on?
Before you cap that up, George, before you cap that all here, let's go back to the old tape here again. During the All Liberian Conference, where brought President Charles Taylor to power, it was the same sort of so-called coalitions, which I really don't believe, because all our politicians, they are greedy. It's all about themselves. That's what I don't trust in their business. They said they were going to go against Taylor, and Taylor told the Liberian people, don't mind those people. They will be arguing among themselves, and I will be the president. You know the history. Finish it up.
Yes, and let me say this. And Mr. Alexander Cummings, many times has gone on different program network to say that he had asked this question, and he said he had made full commitment that he will remain the CPP.
However, if the process is free and fair.
It's fair. He said once it's free and fair,
we don't know the fairness and why the implication of that term we have to know.
Yeah, and then he further said, if anybody is nominated, he will fully support that person. Other than him, he will fully support that person. Boaka has said the same thing. The only person I have not heard some commitment is Mr. Yuri. I think Mr. Yuri does. I think ability.
Okay.
I have spoken. So that is the angle that I'm coming from, saying that they will hold.
Okay, in the last few minutes here, let's push this here, and that's my own opinion. That's my own I've been pondering over this thing here. Do you think Pagomia, strategically, politically, do you think it was prudent on the part of these leaders who are showing signs and symptoms, and even some of the actors and advocates within the collaboration, to come out to say, this is a guy that I'm going to be supporting. Anywhere you want to go, you can go? Is like a commander leading a battalion, and when the commander is being wounded, every soldier find his or her way. Who's gonna make peace at the end of the day when the process is being tampered with? When Darius Dillon, they are big political actors. When she, Nyambli Kanga Lawrence, Mr. Costa, who is one of the major pressure force group, more or less showing signs and symptoms of pivoting towards Joseph Boyka. I don't know why people are moving towards Joseph Boyka. I strongly believe Joseph Boyka does not have that political strength. And people are trying to get this woman into a situation where he's going to be micromanaged. They're going to micromanaging, that's for sure. Do you think that these people, their action at this time to stay neutral, and Cummings seems to be pushed on the side? He is a stranger. He is not one of us. He will maybe with Helen Johnson Sirleaf. How can this be out? Where is the transparency in this thing here?
Quickly, let me just say this. Let me just say that all those people that CPP is putting forward right now, or they are. I mean, I think they're going to go to a convention before they bring people forward that are going to run against the president. But what I'm saying, I do not, for me, as an observer, I do not see any of them being really successful because of the past election. If we can go back to past election, even Cummings' name is floating around and people are saying Cummings. Cummings did not even win in his own state. I mean, in his own county. So how can he become a strong force?
I go. You want to win president, saying you can't even win state.
Yeah, your own. That's why I go. He win the election in America because he didn't win his own state. And then we have Cummings. Cummings can't even win his own county. So how can we push him? At least
the argument that he does not vote there doesn't matter. Is that arguable?
No, it's not. You have to. Before who will buy you if your own people don't sell you?
Ooh.
Right? Your own people have to sell you. You know, you have to at least win. You have to have that constituency in your own backyard. And then secondly, if this group will go to the convention with an open mind. That means, and bring some other folks that we have not heard of and put them forth. I mean, the presidency of Liberia is not something that they say you are entitled to become president. No one's entitled to be president. Anyone can be. The names that they're floating around, we could even find somebody else to represent that ticket.
Okay.
And not coming.
Okay, but Joyce?
Yeah, but here's the thing here, Mr. So. And many people, that's how you see they create the rivalry, the enemy within institution. Everybody have the right to say anything, to do anything they want to do. But when you are in the kind of organization, chairman, people who got voices in the organization, a mature politician will remain silent until they get to the convention.
Right.
But these people are not experienced and they are not mature.
They already influence the decision makings of the delegate.
I will support Boakai, but it is not even yet at a convention. It is your right. When you say that, then you're undermining the process already. Because everybody is jogging for this position. You are not just, the other people can talk what they want to talk, but you are the leader. You don't say these things. And this is why the immaturity and inexperience come in. You see these things. There are two names floating in the CPP, Boakai and Cummings. Boakai and Cummings. Now, those other actors, you come now to throw your weight behind Boakai this time. Let's say, if they go the opposite way, support Cummings on top of the ticket, or Boakai can on top of the ticket, there's not Cummings come next. Where is your position now? These are the things I tell people. A mature politician these kind of issues, you always say, I reserve my comment, my opinion.
We're monitoring the process.
Yes, I'm waiting at the convention.
Let me come.
Okay. We don't come in with your fan out before.
Yeah, let me come in there. Look, I don't think politics has to do with being pragmatic. I think most times we find out that people who are outspoken, they most of the time become victorious when it comes to political elections or anything. I think it's all good that anybody can state who they want to support in this collaboration. And I say numerous times that, look, whoever wins that ticket is going to be defeated anyway. But here's what I want to say. What is going to destroy the CPP is within, It's not from the CDC. So no one should look.
Gonna put their own in your mouth, right?
Exactly. Nobody should look at the CDC as to be, the factor that is going to destroy the CPP. The CPP is going to self-destruct because of those statements they are making that are anti-democratic. Who they may is a newcomer. This man, and because Lufa counted. No, I think people should make sure that they look at the national interest and any personal interest. Look, Boakai has said he has come and he lives on loan. So those people that are spending their money to make sure that he becomes president, those are the ones that will rule Liberia. And I hope people know that. For Cummings, I know Cummings has the capital. He can do whatever he wants to do. But he does not have the political capital. And that, at the end of the day, is going to sway everything against him.
Mr. Gomia,
yes.
I think that seems to, before we go here, that seems to will be potentially the talking points of the CDC. I don't know why, was that a careless political statement by a person who's been in politics so long to come and tell us he lived on loan? Okay, so are you looking back to liquidate your loan at our expense? I don't even understand that. And interestingly, I was told the full collaboration agreed to make contribution to the success of this, and Comey has invested almost like 10,000 plus paying for place, and none of these other people are paying any money, but the fee has to also charge.
Yeah, they're going also charge.
So how can you? The man is also charge, but you're taking the man finances.
Oh yeah,
you're taking finances. Yeah, but the situation. I mean, they are giving all the ammunition that CDC needs. They are. It's like let me just give you a short story. What happened between the how they call it, the rooster. You know, the rooster, and the fact used to be afraid of rooster because why? The fact thought they think that was on rooster hair was a fire.
Well, fire.
And every time you see, every time you see rooster, he will run away. And then rooster said, "My man, why you always run from me?" He said, "No, come here. Look here, this is not a fire. It just, you know, it's cold." And then right after rooster saw that,
all right,
after that, they grab rooster and fight a rooster. So it's the same thing. These guys are telling sedition, you know. This is why are you afraid? You know, don't be afraid. We're giving you all the ammunition that you're going to need to destroy us, and that's what's happening. And like I said from the beginning, the group of people that they have now that they are floating the names around, they are not very strong to go against the sitting president. Seriously,
thank you. Thank you.
They need to come up with some other names.
Okay, I'm already out of time here, but quickly here, it could be yes or no, or maybe 30 seconds follow up. So, if for this collaboration to survive, do they need to go outside of the bare way, go outside of the collaborations and bring in a new future, perhaps to be on the on-top? Do they have that political will, temperament? Because everybody, more or less, who are not like Nelson Mandela type, they went to jail 1 time, 2 times. The contested 1 or 2 times, they didn't get it, so they must anyhow get it. If Nelson Mandela said, I've been in jail for 29 years, so I got to be president for 29 years for South Africa. He didn't do that. He said, well, he went there for 1 shot and handed over peacefully. As Joker Zuma behind the back. Do you think these guys going to go outside of the collaboration to bring in a strange name, maybe to be on top or number 2 person? Would that ever happen, knowing their history?
Let me be very, Mr. So let me be honest with no. And I think we have to be very honest there. If you people going together for an organization all this time, there's nobody within our organization that can lead that ticket. You're going to bring somebody from outside who had not been part of you people, who had not participated. Except maybe someone outside making some background contribution that wouldn't know. But for me, sincerely speaking, I don't think so. No, that would create a serious problem for them.
Mr. Gomia?
Yes, no, I'm not saying. Okay, maybe Mr. So didn't say. I don't think he's saying they should go completely outside the collaborative political party, but somebody within that is not up front right now.
Like trusted person, somebody who will capture the imagination of the international community. They can't do this with Benana Ure.
Right.
So I don't know Joseph Boyka is that strong. They are pushing him. We don't know who pushing him. It's just not doing the favor. Are they telling us there's nobody within the Unity Party who's going to be the rising star? What happens when Omen Boyka falls down today before they will start looking for somebody? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, everybody pay homage to Omen Boyka. The young people.
This country, we see this country, every election cycle season, we hear say new breed, the new generation, the new face of the Democrat, the new face of the Republican. We never see that. Even the CDC is doing now. All their eggs is in President George Weah. Nobody is making preparation. Whether you can look at me any kind of way, you can, but that's right. You're not making preparation. It's the same thing with the opposition. When you call Unity Party, Joseph Boyka, who when he says, he falls to sleep. When you go to ANC, you hear Alexander Kumi. Why? He's from corporate America's Coca-Cola. When you come to ALP, Benana Ure, my people, we've been hearing that one word over and over. They are not racing anybody. Where is the generational change?
Mr. So, let me just come in. Let me just address your question earlier. Let me just say this. The CPP will do well if they will forget this entitlement mentality and look for somebody that they know will be able to stand.
Do you know that person?
If they ask me for advice, yes, I do know somebody that they can take. But I'm not going to say that now. I want some consultation fee.
Okay. No, pay that for that. All right, gentlemen, it's been a quite fascinating conversation. Tomorrow, we're going to be having the political leader of a group called Movement for One Liberia. Madam Mandela Kopot are going to be right here in the Spain zones of the Liberia Public Radio Freedom Watch program. Amos Joy from Atlanta, Georgia, veteran journalist, formerly with the State Broadcasting Corporation, ELBC, ELWA, James Gomia from the Guardian Senate of New Jersey, and of course, our senior contributor, Mr. George Weeder, all the way from the far end. Guys, I want to thank you for your expertise and for the civil conversation here this afternoon on the Liberia Public Radio. Thank you so much, and I catch you here tomorrow, same time on this network. Have a beautiful, beautiful Saturday evening.
Yeah, Mr. Tobin, get a call me.
Okay. All right. Certainly, I will. Thank you so much, George. Thank you so much, Mr. Gomian. Thank you so much, Mr. Weeder. And well, folks, every good thing must come to an end. I'm Alfonso Z and Sort of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. This is how we do it here. We put it into context, give you the option to decide where you will lead. But we say it's as it is. And this is why we are not in the entertainment or amusement industry. This is strictly news. We hold ourselves accountable, hold you accountable to your tweet, and even the politicians and stake actors right here. Hopefully, Madam Mandela Kupot are going to be here tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. She's within the opposition to Bell as well. She's going to be here tomorrow right here on the Liberia Public Radio. Until then, this is our song. They're going to take her home. Nanta Willem, thank you so much for joining us. And of course, our prompt and valuable member, Emily, thank you so much. Henry Said and Nathan Dennis. Let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. And Sarah Sarot, thank you so much. Our man Abu Fafanan from the Empire State of New York. Let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. And there's no way that I can leave out Janika Toure. Yeah, let's get go, yeah. Let it go. And our friend Mr. Alfred Lamy is in the house. Let it go. Yeah, let it go. Go, 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 go. And Mr. Free himself, I'm talking about Elijah Fremont. So good afternoon or good evening, so depending on your location. Give it all to Jesus. Let it take control. Alvin Hayes, what's up, my man? I know it hurts you. Oh, my man Henry panicking. I will not call any Henry Tioweta, what's up? And our own man Sam Shep right there from Maryland. What's up, my man Shepard? Secret in English. Your wife is getting and Francis Pay to another man. Your husband are falling in love. No man Nyakong, what's up? Don't let it bother you. And Mr. Patrick Solo. If someone overlook you because you live in zero, if they Nippo Nippy, very many for all kinds of Niba. If you say you will continue to be a soul. And going in the West African state of the Republic of Liberia, our own J. Joshua Leon to right. Good evening, and thank you for sharing your evening with us from our own motherland of Liberia. You will not marry, you will not bear your own children. And Dopate Witton, what's up? And Rebecca Wallow is here. To touch it. Hopefully, I'm calling these names here. Don't file protest against me. Jesus will change your story. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Mr. Emerson. Let it go. So, Lord, let us go. We can't let them go. We have to ask them. Another 15,000 now being dished out. Oh my goodness, how can we talk about that? Because it's embedded to make it a law. So what can we say? Is she from South Africa? Yeah. And as a gospel artist from Liberia, Minister Jemima Walcott voice fading away right here on the diaspora informative news outlet, Liberia Public Radio.
Do it like you do it, you a true God. Yes. You always hear me when I say my prayer with few words.
Welcome, Elizabeth Piso to Warney. Welcome. Thank you so much for your time. Grundit, what? Mark Clinton Grundit, and our man Michael Michelle Ballat. Thank you so much.
But there is power in your blood, and what I'm giving praises. Yes. I got a dance that dividends.
The man from the Zion land.
How you make it, brother, may not be. He say every time I sin, I'm on my knees, begging God for mercy.
Tamba Basi.
Blessing and forgiveness.
And Betty Zeze, what's up?
From the wilderness. Only you can keep
Cynthia coming little by little. What's up from Liberia or right here, USA?
No matter what the problem is, but you let it go. Your delay is not your denial. Everybody knows.
Now, meantime, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are.
From the grass, you can take it from the rock and roll. Yeah.
And by the way, if you get a business and an establishment, you need to get it out there to showcase it. Let us know, and we're going to get it out there within the public domain. That's what we do. We showcase and prioritize Liberia's own. And Mr. Alexander Shah right here in the ocean state of Rhode Island. What's up, buddy? Thank you for always tuning in.
Lord, help me let it go. Your people are suffering, lying in the hospital, suffering from all kinds of sickness. Lord, help them. That sickness that bothering you, I say, let it go. The barrenness, pack your load and go. Living the life of joblessness, let it go. I say, you spirit of suppression, let it go.
Oh, Mr. Fafananta, welcome. Thank you so much.
Let it go, man. Oh, I'm tired.
Philomena, how you doing? Mr. Joseph Green right there from Philadelphia.
Let it go.
And I'm talking about also not forgetting to Glenn Lindsay.
Let it go. If your wife said we are not compatible, let it go. Your husband said you're not my type, just let it go. If someone killed for you before, yeah, they kill your mother and they kill your father. They kill your wife and make your children homeless. Oh yeah. They kill your husband and your children fatherless.
How many of us can let that one go now?
Let it go. Mama, let it go, yeah. Papa, let it go. It is painful, let it go.
It is painful, even when you take your chemo, let it go.
Oh, mama, they don't want to pay. You are become a boo-boo man. Your best friend is not your secret enemies. Your mother-in-law don't even want to see you. At your job side, they call you good for nothing. I say in your family, they call you useless. But one day, Jesus will make you useful.
Little T from New Jersey, thank you so much for your support. You know, when you broke like a chora, nobody knows you. The family that fully managed, that fully get this and that. But thank God, just try and win some kind of Powerball. The nephew, the nieces, the uncle, the great grand, all of them gonna come by. Enter, I call to speak to you.
Oh no, you are holy on, you're making Jesus to run no.
Poor no Frank.
So let it go. It is painful, let it go.
Nobody want hangs out with the suffering masses, you know.
Let it go.
How the hell you be gapping and go hang around Gapper?
Oh, let it go.
You just want to be carrying your pressure and your cholesterol over the roof, you know.
Let it go, let it go.
So what best you can do, Minister Walker say, let it go.
Let it go, man. Oh yes,
this music contains so much of message, so much of wisdoms and prophecy, and I love it a lot. It's right on YouTube. Just type in "Let It Go" to Minister Jemima Walcott and subscribe. All right, well, folks, that does it this evening. I'm Alfonso Zienso of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. I want to thank you so much for your time. It is because of you that we are here, and so your time here is so valuable to us. And this is why when conversations are kept on this network, a high conversations of civility is maintained at all times. I'm sorry if you want me to say certain thing to suit you or to beef you up. Unfortunately, this is not what we do here. We try to talk Liberia. We try to discuss on the issue. No one should be exempted, including me, you, and even the politicians. Because if we do not hold these people, if we do not manage them, so we can ask the tough questions, then it's a serious problem because we are raising our own little lasers around here to not knowing we are raising alligators. And when they get on Capitol Hill, now they become stubborn. You saw that tip there, one of the interview, the old man said, some would elect them to turn their back. Then the first thing they're going to do so they can know what is happening within the outside world, all the car windshields, they will begin to put these tinted windshields, and all you're going to see the tires rolling. They don't want to know what is happening out there. Yes, you can choose your person you love, somebody, that's your right to do it. But be honest, question them. Sometimes ask questions. Why you want this job here? How are you going to do it differently? We are seeing people coming and people going. So why you want me to support you? To convince me. Don't go by the person, maybe Rebecca is supporting, so, oh, Rebecca is my auntie, so Rebecca is supporting Joseph Boyka, so I'm going to support Joseph Boyka. No, don't do that, because your decision as an individual, as a group, does have an impact on our country. So if you make a bad choice, we all fall inside bad decision making. So we have to ask all of these people here. We need to look in their toenails. Those that have JICA, who will not be able to walk in shoe and go to conferences and meet the international community for donors, who will not be traveling all over the place, but just right there in Liberia to be having these sort of meetings without seeking international support. They are just not really ready to lead that country. Unfortunately, we, the citizens, the electors, the viewers, encourage these people. People come, they talk, and they say a thing, and we say, hey, hallelujah, hey, man. And we go with them without asking them. We just hear one little thing they mention, and it just blew off the roof without even asking, okay, this is how you're saying it. How are you going to do it? How are you going to achieve it? These are technical questions you want to ask these people who want to be senator, who want to be representative, and who want to be president. Yes, in as much as there are some bad policies within this government, in as much we want good things to happen, so it doesn't mean we should just pick anything. So at the end of the day, we're going to get another surprise again. I yet to see a policy-oriented, driven policy or strategic method being deployed by the opposition. They're all going helter-skelter. So it doesn't show anything to me. No one is telling me how they're going to downsize the government. I don't believe in big spending. They're not telling me how they're going to get money, because, and I can cite you a reason. How many of our opposition ever travel within the ECOWAS belt to meet the ECOWAS leaders? What is happening? How many of them have ever made an attempt to travel to the European Union? I'm seeking to be president, begin to make friends with these people. How many of them are coming here to meet with U.S. Congress, Senator, the Secretary of State? All of these people, where is the policy? You want to be elected first when you go on the 8th floor, and then you start presiding over the concessions, and you begin to reward yourself politically before you're going to do that. That's not a strategic plan. No good politician does that. They do not even have an envoy in the US here, not to mention in the EU. They need to have people to speak. We want mature people. Toddlers, people who wear in diapers, do not partake in politics. You can't continue to sleep over and over and over. You have to come clean. You have to be honest. I'm not looking to elect somebody who just going to be forming NGO than the ordinary Liberians who want to start from the grassroots to build their own institution. They can't even have the chance. All of the senators get their own private company. How the ordinary person from Riverside, from my own county, Grand Gide, or from Maryland, from Sino, who is building and does not have any connection in capital, how can they win a bid? when all of the ministers get their own company, when all of the lawmakers get their own company, at the end of the day, when bid comes, it goes right back to them. That's being dishonest to our people. Folks, I'm Alfonso Z, and so have a pleasant Saturday evening.
Everybody, everything's going bad. The situation getting worse. Everybody in the country getting mad. Dishonesty, poverty on the rise. The leaders, them making empty promises. Promises with no damn strategies. Yeah, this is better days, money in the pockets. Oh, as a holidays only for the bosses.